Welcome back to the Orange is the New Black podcast. Hey, before we jump into this for season 7.
Episode 1.
I
don't know what happened there.
Before we jump into season 7, we want to address the end of season 6.
That would be the finale.
The finale, yes. So, Martha, do you want to talk about this
about
first?
Our shame.
This is even before we play our theme music. We got to talk about this a little bit.
So, last summer, we did the show, right?
Right.
Sort of,
sort of. We did great. We had some issues with character names in the beginning.
And so on the season finale, there was the whole Blanca.
Yeah.
Oh dear God, if I got her name wrong.
No, it's Blanca.
It's Blanca.
No. What happened was we were, number one, we were exhausted when we were doing it, but number two, there was so much happening because we just rewatched the episode and there was so
I didn't
much
remember
happening.
Anything. I didn't even remember that Carol and Barb died, until the moment right before.
Wow.
Because it was gone. I think I was that tired.
I remembered
everything.
With
that.
But the crucial moment, the moment that you, the fans, called us out on was, if you listen to that last episode, we talked about how we didn't know what happened with Blanca. We're like, did she go out a different door? Did she get on a different bus? Why is Diablo standing there? Oh my God, you guys, right away jumped on Facebook saying,
how did you not know that she got picked up by ICE?
Right. And what's hilarious is we just watched it and it is so freaking obvious.
So clearly we were asleep.
Oh my gosh. And it's gut-wrenching.
Yes.
Too. Gut-wrenching.
And you see Piper look at her like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Why are we in different lines? Why are you going out a different door?
It also was really obvious that everybody in that line, in Blanca's line, looked like they were Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, we didn't notice that first time. Only, right.
Only.
And we didn't notice that. And when they went out and ICE was there, it was like, it wasn't, I don't know what we didn't register.
Well, and look at what's happening right now in our country.
Right.
And the fact that was a year ago,
right?
I would not have thought in a million years that we would be dealing with this in our country right now.
No, I wouldn't either. So it was really important to watch this episode before we did episode 1 of season 7.
Yeah, now we remember what happened with Tasty and what happened with...
We're up to speed with everybody, and we've got the character names right. So we are ready to go. So we just wanted to...
We took notes.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
We stayed awake long enough to take notes.
So we just wanted to say, we're sorry that we got that part wrong. And we are really trying. But I would also like to say, for those of you that are newer listeners, because we've done actually 6. This will be the 6th out of 7 seasons.
Yes.
Because we didn't do the first season, which we'll talk about in a second. But in that time, if you've listened the whole time, you really do understand. We are 2 people sitting on our couch watching the show, talking about it. It's not an obsession where we think about it every second of our lives. So we get a lot wrong when we first start up a new season. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
We love it. I love this show. I'm so happy to be back at it.
And we have fun watching it.
Right.
Talking
about
it.
We get things wrong a lot. So if you're somebody
who's like just us.
A diehard fan, really, actually,
even things we're obsessed about, we'll still get wrong.
Yeah, we do. If you're somebody who wants it to be perfect, you know what?
You're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, right. But if you're just here for a good time and to love on Orange is the New Black, that's exactly what this show is about.
And if you want to feel good about yourselves, listen to us because,
Yeah, you want to look smart. Hang out with dumb people.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about season 1 really quickly also before we go any further. Martha and I today were talking about how, hey, we only did starting at season 2.
Yeah, because we had a different team did season 1.
Right. So you want to go back and do season 1.
I would love to, especially when this season is over and the whole show is wrapped up.
Yeah.
I would love to go back and and sort of get that feeling again of like what it was
Kind of do
like
a retrospective
yeah,
season 1, go back and
Yeah.
rewatch those episodes,
yeah.
knowing what happened. So when we do those, they are probably going to be spoiler filled. So if you try to listen in order, like if you're like, oh, I'm going to go back and listen to season 1, episode 1, guess what? We're not watching along without knowing what happens. We can't. We know exactly what happens. But it will be a lot of fun to go back and reapproach it and get perspective on the show, I think.
I wonder if we'd be able to do it spoiler free.
I doubt it, and I also don't think it would be as much fun.
Okay.
So,
So we just have to put on there that there are spoilers. So
yes,
people
we
don't-
will. We will put on there.
I don't want angry letters.
We won't get angry letters.
Well, I haven't recovered
T.
from Blanca.
T is such an angry letter.
I haven't recovered from Blanca.
Well, no, but we're making good on it
oh
now.
my God. We
We're
were
making
so
good.
dumb. Okay.
So, okay. After this season is over, we'll go back and do a retrospective on season 1. And it'll be spoiler filled, but we will make sure we say that up front. You good with that?
Sure.
All right. Now we can get to the theme music.
Another year's gone by. I'm so glad you're with me. The way you lift me up with the love you give me. It's good to know that you'll be mine when days are blue. Oh, what a dream come true.
I don't know if we've ever talked about the theme music.
I think we did.
Did we? It's by Patrick Tanner and the Faraway Men. We'll put a link in the show notes. So if you really dig that song, I believe it's on Spotify, or you can buy it from him, which is even better because, hey, man, they did this music and they were so cool to give us this music
All
as a theme
these
song.
seasons.
Yeah, man, that's cool of them.
Yep.
So buy his album, or at least buy the single. Throw something his way to show some thanks, because Patrick's a great guy, and the song, oh my gosh, it's been the perfect song for this.
Yes.
So, okay. 2 more quick things. First of all, follow us on Twitter at Orange Podcast. Follow us on Facebook. Look up Orange is the New Black Podcast. That's us. And get in conversation with us. We started putting up a thread already of spoilers for this season. And if you're going to use that, make sure you tag it spoiler
Yeah, because
before you spoil
we
anything.
literally only watch one at a time and then post it. So we are
Right.
not aware of what's
Well,
going on.
A lot of people watch that way. And I thought about doing spoiler episodes or spoiler posts that's like season 7, episode 1, spoiler thread. The
Mhm.
problem is some people watch it that way and some people barrel through.
Right.
It's not as much fun. So we'll just have a main discussion thread and a main spoiler thread for season 7.
Mhm.
And that thing can just be massive. And if it gets too big, we can always splinter it off and have session number 2 or something. I don't know.
Who cares?
So, yeah.
No
So
one
there we go.
cares.
All right.
Beginning
Let's
of the
do
end.
this. Season 7, episode 1, the final season, beginning of the end.
Piper struggles to adapt to life after Litchfield. Alex promises to keep her nose clean, and Daddy's infidelity angers Daya. Daya has seriously gone off the deep end.
Yeah, well, the drugs kind of did that.
I would think, but way before the drugs, though. Like it was when she got that time added, and
Right,
she was
because she
just
pulled the
done.
gun on,
Yeah.
on the guard. She's been, I mean, she's a lifer now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's done.
Yeah,
She's
so
done.
that's when she went off the deep end. And here, I mean, she's like fully into the drugs. She's gotten all weird about Daddy. And
Well, she finds her cheating,
but
and then like the whole time she's like, "Why are you looking at her? Why are you you know?" And but like she killed her.
yeah.
You would think.
Now her intention wasn't to kill her, because she said
Right, 'cause
when
she
she
did
found out,
cry.
she's like, no, that's not what was going on.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Well, and
But she
she
killed
and
her.
Daddy said you keep people in line with fear, so that maybe she was thinking, if I
exactly.
do this night and I can be in control then,
Right.
Because I'll get her so scared that she'll do what I say.
Exactly.
But she ended up killing her.
Which was so crazy. I didn't think Daddy was going to die in episode 1. Did
No. So Hellman tells Daddy, no, Hellman tells Daya that Daddy's dead. But then he says, and you're going to be dead too if you do that. And so at first I'm thinking, was he just using that like people say that? Like, oh,
Like he was using
Like-
fear.
like she's going to die, or like I didn't at first think she was actually dead.
Really? Because I did. Her legs were twitching. She was on the ground.
Well, then you're not dying. You're not dead
No,
yet.
but I figured when he said she's dead, I thought, yeah, that she's.
But the
she's
way
dead.
he said it, it went right into her. He went like, "Oh, Daddy's dead." Like, and then he went, "And you're dead too." If you do this,
Okay.
and so I was thinking, "Oh, she's not really dead. He's just using that as a figure of speech." And then, oh no, she's dead. That was just weird. Like
Yeah.
it was just really
the
weird
figure of
to me.
speech is that she's dead.
Well, that's a literal of speech.
A literal of speech. He used a literal of speech. Yeah. So I was really
Did
surprised.
I throw
by
you
that.
off
In
now
fact,
with my wicked
always do.
my wicked what? I don't
You threw yourself off with that
Oh
one.
my god, that hurt. Okay.
So
I'm all right now.
the funny thing is, when this episode started and we saw Daya in the beginning and she was doing the drugs, first thing I thought is, oh, she's dead this season. It's final season. They've had this story arc with her. You can't really resolve it. She's going to
She'll OD.
and it would probably, I was thinking episode 1 or episode 2, we'd have a big
Okay.
death, which is funny because, I mean, I really did think that when Daddy died, I was completely shocked.
Yeah.
I
didn't see that coming.
I actually thought, even when she gave her that stuff, which is what ended up killing Daddy,
Yeah.
I still was thinking Daya was going to die.
Well, and the one who was trying to might have been in last season when she was no, it was this one because the girl kept saying she wanted drugs, and the one is like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I've got the hooch," and she said, "I don't put the hand sanitizer or whatever into it."
Right.
And so
Mine's
that
all
was
natural.
that was foreshadowing
Oh, sure it was.
because Daya gave it to her,
right.
and she must have added that to it.
Yes. Well, she added the poison to it for sure.
Well, yeah, there's that.
We don't know. It wasn't necessarily hand sanitizer she added to it.
I like to
She-
think
no,
that was
she added-
foreshadowing.
Because if it was hand sanitizer, then when the one's like, oh, I don't put hand sanitizer in it, oh, good, because it kills you. See, she wasn't saying it kills you. She's saying it's hand sanitizer. That's what they're using as the alcohol base, and it's really tastes terrible and it's bad for you. She didn't imply people are dropping dead from drinking the other hooch that has
This is
hand
what I think.
sanitizer.
Okay, I beg to differ. I'm pretty
You
sure
beg to differ all you
she
want.
put a lot of hand
That was
sanitizer.
That was a literal of speech that the hand sanitizer would not kill them unless you drank enough of it. But that was not even discussed here. So what are we talking about? So, okay, are we done with Daddy and Daya?
Let's do Popper.
Popper.
I have
You know what? We started this episode saying
I
we we're
was-
going to know the characters, and now it's 10 o'clock at night, and you're falling apart.
I don't know what happened. Well, we watched 2. I took a lot of notes. I must have exhausted myself. Okay,
It's
so
so hard to take notes.
and okay, and seriously, when we put on the season
Ritz?
finale,
Yes.
and I froze in the first 2 minutes. It was Alex and Piper, and I swear to God, I looked at you and I said, "Oh my God, I can't remember their names."
Oh my gosh. Well, you remembered the first names of the 2 actresses, but you didn't remember the character names.
How
all.
embarrassing is that?
Pretty embarrassing.
So when I call her Popper, I'm doing okay.
It's
I'm
John
getting
Popper.
a little closer.
John Popper's in this episode.
I'm getting a little
He's
closer.
giving me the runaround.
I'm just ignoring you,
That's the best choice.
which is probably what the audience is trying to do with me right now. Okay, so Piper, I want to talk about this. So she got out,
Yeah.
and Cal came and got her,
Mm-hmm.
and she's living with Cal and Miri and their baby, and that's a whole lot of.
Well, how would it not be? As soon as she's going to live with Cal, you're like, this is going to be nuts.
Well, she has nowhere else to go.
Right.
And it's very frustrating because it's like she's not a drug addict. She's not,
No, but
she's not doing anything. Like
she made all those choices.
She's
blew her
not a
life up,
threat to anyone.
And then she blew up her life even more, ending up back in there. Remember back in like season 2?
I understand. But I'm just saying, on a scale of 1 to like, I don't even know. John Wayne Gacy or somebody. Like
that's an extreme.
Hannibal Lecter. Like
okay, let's go super extreme.
She's not there. Like
no,
she's like nothing. Like just give her a freaking break and let her get situated.
Right.
But that's a whole lot of dysfunction. And oh my God, when they are trying to potty train this infant.
Yeah. What's that called? They said they called it something.
It's elimination.
Napulus.
It's like they watch for. I've read a lot about this because I was in early childhood education for many years. But anyway, there are certain parents that do this, believing that if you just look at their faces, you can see when they're about to do something, and then you rush to the bathroom and you never have to put a diaper on them, and it's a way of being attuned to your baby.
What face am I making right now?
You're about to crap your pants. So I'm not helping you to the bathroom if you haven't figured it out by now. So
if you hear a mic drop and me run.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh my God, that's like that privy. What was that thing I found yesterday?
Oh, the privacy tent thing.
It's called an Insta Privy.
Yeah, and you can pull it up and you can go to the bathroom inside,
anywhere.
like hide inside. It's got a little groove. I think they call those groovers. Those little seats that open up into like a porta potty.
And
yeah, it's called like a groover.
But I want to use it as an introvert tent. I want to take it everywhere I have to go and be with people, and I can just go inside the Insta Privy.
The mall.
It's not just for peeing anymore. No. It's like like a whole introvert thing. I could have.
There are at least 2 things you could do in it.
I could just avoid people in there. Okay. I don't know what the hell we were talking about. All right. We were talking about Piper and somehow about eliminating. Okay, so whatever. So the baby. So they're trying to do that. So Neri is being a real jerk and wants her to pay $64 a day in rent.
Right. Well, because the way their life is structured, having her live there is a nightmare for them. They want to have their whole whatever this baby experience is. She's looking at it as, hey, we could be renting this room out as an Airbnb and making, what did they say?
$64 a night.
Yeah. So that's what she's looking at. And here's Piper, who's like barely functioning as far as they're concerned. We're seeing the other side of it. Piper's really trying.
Yes.
She's getting a tough deal. And she's really trying. And you know what? You know what it was reminding me of is in the other seasons, like when Tasty got out and then ended right back in. When Alita was like, it sucks out here.
Yeah.
And it sucks for Piper. Piper, she has to pay because she had early release. She has to pay for her testing.
Yep.
And for
her monitoring.
It's like, that's a lot of money when she had to pay $200 almost.
Yes.
And if you go, okay, well, let's say that's only $200 a month. Let's not even guess that it's every 2 weeks or whatever, which it might be. Let's say it's once a month, $200. Well, she can't work the optimum hours to make that kind of money.
Exactly.
Most jobs aren't going to hire her
because she has a record. Yeah,
she has a record. I mean, she's really
society does not. They're supposed when someone leaves prison,
they've paid their debt.
You're supposed to be done. Your slate should be clean. You've paid your debt to society, but they have to carry that forever.
Right.
And unless you know somebody who's willing to take a chance on you, it's very, very hard to get a job. I mean, you know how hard
deals were. What was it boxed her in.
But think about it for you. So you got your master's. And you're looking for an adjunct professor job. unless you know somebody, they go, but you don't have any experience.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I have all this experience. I have my master's degree. I have 2 bachelor. Like I have all this stuff, and
I can't get a job.
And I can't get a job. So
Yeah.
how is a felon? How
Right.
is like somebody who's been in
Well,
prison?
and that's the other thing they do is the better jobs look at it and they say, well, why is there a gap in your work?
Yes.
Well, for us, we started our own business.
Mhm.
There's no gap in our work.
And you were in school.
Right. But there's no gap in our work.
Right.
But they look at immediately, oh, well, you weren't working for X company during that time. And that's what she's going to run into.
Yeah.
Okay. She can say, I was in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I paid my
They're
debt.
automatically
I've
not
been
going to
released,
hire her.
And immediately she's not going to get a gig.
Yeah.
And the fact that another restaurant wanted to hire her, but she'd have to be in a place with alcohol. Nope.
Yeah.
Can't do it. It's like I understand.
Yes.
I understand. There are people that absolutely couldn't be in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
This is what a caseworker should be doing, is looking at the individual, figuring out
The
like
law
Piper,
shouldn't be
black and white.
black and white. It should be based on the individual and the
Yes.
caseworker,
Which is
the
difficult.
parole officer.
But I mean, you saw it right here. It's like, come on. She is actually really trying. She's doing all these things right. If you're really in there invested with her, okay, we're going to let you work until 1.
right.
And we're going to talk to your boss and we're going to make sure. That could be all the difference in the world for somebody.
Yeah.
Especially somebody who's like, hey, you look at her, she's talking to you, you can tell. I don't know if you've talked to people that are not going the straight and narrow, but you can usually tell something's up.
But Tasty was the same, where if she had had just a little bit, if she had had a little bit of
Yeah.
grace and a little bit going her way, or Alita, like in the
But no,
beginning,
Alita's going to self-destruct every time.
I know, but
She was having a really tough go, but there
But
is
she had elements where if somebody was working with her and saw her gifts,
right.
she could
She
have
could have
gone a
succeeded.
different way. She's brilliant.
But the problem is her default setting was going to lead her back to this. You see it
Yes.
again right here.
But
She ends
Tasty's
up with Caesar again.
probably wouldn't have.
No,
Tasty's
Tasty's,
more
I don't
like
believe would have.
she's more like Piper.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are people who get
Well, and if Piper had gotten out back in that
no
second season
chance.
and not screwed up and ended up right back in, I don't think you could have trusted Piper. I think she would have continued to make bad choices. She is now trying really hard. And then she goes to her dad, and her dad is like holding her over the fire for
He's
50
not
bucks.
answering her calls.
Yeah,
He's
and it's like-
avoiding. And I understand. My
Well,
God,
yeah,
we
but-
have a daughter. We'd be really upset if she threw her life
Yeah, but
away.
it's more than that. In the other seasons you saw, it was because she was with Alex.
Yeah,
He didn't like that. The mom didn't like that. It's like, hey, it's her life.
yeah,
Let's back the hell off of it and support and love each other.
right.
And really be in there where you can see, am I seeing the signs?
Hmm. I'm just saying that I can understand on some level his disappointment and his
Sure.
frustration and him thinking, you know what, I did it wrong, and that's how she got here, so I need to do the opposite. And that's what he's trying to do. But the opposite is just as bad. Like
Right.
both extremes are bad. How about finding some gray
But
area in
How
the
about
middle?
having a real conversation? What do you need the 50
Right.
bucks for? And is it a bus ticket? Oh, how about if I buy your bus ticket?
Because he doesn't want her to see her.
Right.
She
well, I
couldn't
know that.
tell her.
That's
she
what I'm
couldn't
saying.
tell him.
Right.
So she just kind of looked at him and she was like, I just need it. She wouldn't tell him what she needed it for.
Right. And she shouldn't have to answer for it. But if it's that tenuous, a little give and take between the two could have gone a long way. Now, he did end up giving her the 50 bucks. And he's going to hold her feet to the fire on that.
Yeah, to get paid back.
And already she loses her job then.
Yeah.
And which is the kind of thing that happens when you have those terrible jobs, like that. The guy says, yeah, you can have tomorrow off. Oh, we're going to fire you because of that. I remember I worked in that toy store and I sprained my back. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And I told them, my doctor says I can't lift anything.
Mhm.
I still went in. And then when the manager was out, the owner, who always wanted to fire me because he didn't think men should be salesmen; they should be in the stock room, whatever that is. He made me lift wrought iron toys and put them up high, even though I wasn't supposed to lift anything. And I had told him, and he yelled at me. I did it. I ended up not being able to come in the next day because I couldn't move, and he fired me.
Mhm.
It was a setup.
Mhm.
Same kind of crap.
Mhm.
It's a setup. When you have those crappy jobs, that's what happens to you.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I really
But she
feel
can't
for Piper.
get
She's
a different-
really, really trying.
Yeah. She can't get a different job because of all the restrictions.
Right.
So,
And I'll
she's
also, as long as we're talking about that, I feel for Alex. She is in such a
oh my
tight
God,
spot.
Alex is in a nightmare.
She's got Battison, who is just a nightmare
Yeah.
up her rear.
Yeah.
Um,
She's got Hellman demanding she swallow. Well, first of all, that she sells the drugs.
right.
But second of all, then he makes her swallow the condom with all the heroin in it.
Right.
And she's like, I could die if this
Right.
thing opens.
He doesn't care.
And he doesn't care. And then he brings her a packet of laxatives and is like, here you go, take care of it. It is so scary. She is in a really bad situation. And she can't tell Piper.
Yeah.
And Piper can't tell her. And so the two of them visited
Sat there
and sat
awkwardly
there like totally lying to each other. And
I
it's
really
like,
hope that doesn't dissolve their relationship, because it can. It
well, I don't
can.
know how they could survive it if they can't be honest with each other. And
Well, they can't.
so I don't know how they can survive it.
But there may be a point, we may see an episode where they're able to communicate so that you understand, like, okay, this is what's going on.
Hmm.
And that would be a big thing. Or Piper's going to somehow end up back at Litchfield, which I'll be really disappointed if that happens.
Yes.
This season, she needs to stay out. We need her to stay out of that prison.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's cheap for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's too easy.
And Alex isn't getting out for, what is it? Would they say 5 years?
3?
3 years?
I don't know.
She's in for a while.
I think
We're not
she
gonna
got
have,
3
I mean,
extra.
the season's not going to jump 3 years in the future. It may at the
Right.
very end.
Yeah.
We may see, but her story has got to resolve.
How
in here.
is she going to get through those years when she has this much going on? Like,
Well, her biggest problem is Heller and Battison.
Hellman?
Hellman. I keep saying Heller. Hellman,
There's no such person.
Right. Hellman and Battison. Those are
Yeah.
her biggest problems. Last season, you thought it was, Barb, but
But they're gone.
they're gone. So
and
it
then
becomes,
Daddy took their place, but now Daddy's gone. So
but Daddy wasn't a problem for Alex.
no, but I'm saying I
Battison
wonder who's
is.
going to take over.
Oh, it's going to be that blonde one that Daddy was with.
I don't
Or-
think she has the right personality.
It could be Daya. It could be Alex gets pushed into that role. She doesn't want it, but it may be her only way out, her only way to blow this up. Although, you know what? Maybe not, because it's all blowing up. If you in
Well,
this
she went
episode-
up to the girl who kept asking for the drugs
and gave her the drugs.
because Daddy's dead. She no longer has a deal. She can't
Right.
get rid of the drugs,
Right, she's got to get it to this
and
girl.
so she got him to the girl. And now
But-
what?
But now that like Daddy died and everything's like under scrutiny, that whole underground drug scene might get locked down for long enough that Alex is able to squirm out of this.
Well, and if something happens with Alita and
Hopper.
thank you, if something happens between Alita and Hopper, because she's totally using him and playing him,
Yeah.
and now all her kids are there, and if something comes to a head there, he keeps wanting to stop it. And
Right.
she's going, oh, no, one more.
Well, you saw what happened. They went one more and
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
So, we'll see if that guy refuses to do it anymore, then, Alex might be okay.
Yeah, I mean, that might be Alex's way out of it, which then she can be honest with Piper. And Piper, I have a feeling, is going to be honest with her when she finds out, as soon as Alex is able to say, my life is hell,
Mhm.
Alex will say, or Piper can say, my life is hell.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen, though? I mean, I don't think she's going to live with Cal that long.
I don't think she's going to have a choice. But where is she going?
Right. Where is she going?
She can't afford rent anywhere. She can't afford to
You don't
even
think she's going
rent
to go
a
back to
room.
Larry
Ew.
for the time being? Well, it showed her in the flashback going to Larry and being like, but the ocean and the this and the that. Could she possibly go back and sugar daddy Larry for a bit?
I thought he was with someone.
He is. That doesn't mean that she wouldn't somehow get back there. I don't know. I hope not. I hope not. I hope that
not.
she gets a job or something. Something starts to break for her.
Yeah.
Because it sucks.
Yeah.
And she better not end up back in Litchfield or back to crime.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
And that's more than me saying I hope the character doesn't. That's me saying I don't want this show to go there.
Yeah.
It's
too that's
it's
way
too
too
easy.
way too easy.
It's too easy. Oh, look what happened again.
Yeah.
Watch it happen, and we totally buy into it. We're like, oh my God, I love it. Because that has happened to us with some shows.
That's true.
So, okay.
All right. Let's so Tasty is Baddison's roommate. And Alex thinking, oh, I can take care of Baddison if I frame her with a phone. And then instead it got Tasty and Baddison fighting, and Tasty beat the absolute crap out of Baddison.
She's a lifer. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Seriously.
She
Even
went
though that's not her nature.
on her.
And the thing is, Tasty's still Tasty. She's still like,
yeah.
I don't want to go here, but you are a living nightmare.
Right. So they're both in the shoe.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what they still call it?
They call it the shoe. They're in the shoe and
Red and Gloria. Although, did Gloria get taken out?
No.
now?
Gloria did not get taken
Okay.
out. She was put in there right at the end when she was telling the guard, like, hey, this
Ward.
She was like, look, your name wasn't on that list, so you weren't playing that game.
Yeah, the
and she's like, what game?
Inmate,
she goes,
fantasy inmate.
She goes, you know what game? You know about fantasy inmate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that we're not done with the fantasy inmate. The game is over.
Well,
but I think the repercussions are still coming down.
Coleman won because Barb and Carol killed each other.
Right.
And then she got all the points.
Right. I really think that there are going to be repercussions because of that game. I don't think that Hellman is going to last this season.
Okay.
I think he's our big bad CO that's going to get taken down, and it's going to have something to do with Daya. I still am not convinced Daya's going to survive this season.
I agree with you. I would not mind. I would have been fine if she died right in the beginning. I mean, I never liked her.
Yeah, she was never the character,
and I didn't like her with that guard.
Yeah,
and all that back in the day.
And as long as we're doing predictions, I think that Tasty will have a civil trial. And that civil trial will show that she did not kill that guard.
I think that Suzanne and I think that Cindy's guilt
it's going to
is
open it
eating
up.
her alive.
Oh, it totally
and
is.
The fact that she yelled at Suzanne when Suzanne was upholding the lie she wanted her to keep saying, and then she got mad at her when Suzanne was like, oh no, well, Tasty murdered that guy, and she's like, he did not, and you know he didn't. You watched the stormtroopers.
Right.
Or whatever she called them.
And when you watched that last episode from last season and you saw Caputo fight that guy in the hallway, that's not over.
There are people who know she didn't do it.
And there are people that know who did it.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, regardless of all that, I mean, you could have her innocence be proven.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean she gets out of jail.
Right.
It just means that she is no longer a lifer. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that will probably be the case.
Yeah.
But they could technically have a civil trial where it's proven that she didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the civil trial, if that's proven, I don't know, can they go back and get her sentence erased?
Right.
It's possible.
I don't-
Because the civil
but not if
trial
she's
is different than a
still-
murder trial, which is what that was.
But if she's still doing that stuff, like beating up Battison and doing these things, like they're not gonna release her.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's just it. I don't think they're releasing her, but they could take away that life sentence, and then she has like 3 years left or something.
yes, I would agree with that. Also we find out that Lorna is okay after the last season finale when
Yes,
she
had the
was
baby.
started going to
'Cause
labor all by
You
herself.
even said when we were watching, you're like, we don't know if that baby's okay.
Right.
And then it was a preemie,
Yes.
but
so he's hooked up
Oh
to
my God.
tubes and everything.
oh my God, the description though.
Yes.
Like he's all covered in hair.
Oh
She's
my
like, "We're
God.
very hairy people. Oh my
She's
God.
like, that should fall out. Like, this should fall
The
off.
way she
This
described
shouldn't
this
happen
baby,
anymore.
it was like a baby Sasquatch.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
And his name is Sterling.
Sterling. Okay.
And Nikki kills me.
So
For
was
God's sake.
there was a character named Sterling. Like it was Sterling was the name on Mad Men of their agency,
Yes.
right? Because when they said Sterling and she goes, he was a huge Mad Men fan.
Yeah.
I forgot that he worked at Sterling.
Yeah.
I immediately went to Archer
Oh, funny.
because his name is Sterling Archer, and I'm like, are they screwing that part of it up? But no, they're
No, Mad Men.
they're not. Yes, it was Mad Men.
So the baby's okay for now. I mean, see, it's still hooked up to tubes and everything.
Right.
But so far surviving.
Well, it was gaining weight and
Yeah.
everything. So I think,
think the baby's okay.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna have that storyline. I think
Yeah.
that her
So I
baby's
was
gonna be
very
fine.
happy that she didn't die in childbirth or the baby didn't die.
Yeah.
So that was good. We got that.
Nikki got a
little-
blowout on her hair. It's
Nikki's
even
awesome.
bigger this season.
Nikki makes me so happy, and
Yeah.
she's so funny. I still miss Boo.
I do too.
I really want her back.
Where is she? I can't remember. Was she?
I don't know, and I want Lolly back.
Well, Lolly is in the mental.
I know, but I
one.
really like.
I don't think we're going to see Lolly again, but I think Boo went to another great. Somebody's going to write in and tell us how wrong we are.
Oh my
I
gosh!
think Boo was sent to a different prison, but
Yeah.
I would really like to see Boo back. We did get to see Pennsatucky.
Doggett
was
mhm,
back,
Tiffany, yeah,
and I love that she's like, "Hey, when she was talking to Nikki, and she's like, hey, or no, she was talking to Suzanne,
Suzanne.
and she's like, look, I was a train wreck, and look,
Right.
this has been good for me.
She's like, I'm the only one who's like actually thriving in prison.
Yeah,
like
and
it
it's
actually
true.
helped me. She goes, usually it destroys people. She goes, it actually helped me. But I love her relationship with Suzanne.
Yeah.
When
They should be in Florida. Those two
and-
should be in the Florida section.
yeah, when
Hanging out away from the turmoil because they work so much better there.
yeah, when they were in the season finale, Suzanne was talking with Frida, and Frida was being really cruel to
Yeah.
her in order to get her to go. You
Right,
get to go
right.
outside, and she knew like I have to be mean to her in order for her to go.
She was pushing the baby bird out of the nest.
But Doggett was really sweet with Suzanne and has kind of stayed by her side since then. And it's like you're not going to tell her she doesn't have any friend, that you're not her friend and whatever.
Now, we didn't get a Frida update on this one.
Well, she's not dead,
Right, but we didn't see Frida.
right? But
Because the last one ended with her sitting in the cellar. She didn't know at that point.
right that Carol and Barb were both dead.
Right. And so it was interesting that she was still, we didn't really get an update from her. So I'm sure we've got one coming. I'm sure of it.
So yeah, but I did love seeing Doggett befriend Suzanne, and I love their little friendship.
Yeah.
They're very sweet.
I also loved that. So Cindy has been taken off of the radio show. And I
loved her doing the kickball.
that was in the last one.
I know, but I loved
But then
that.
but for this season, she's off. And Flocka had to get rid of her because it was causing too much trouble because they're like, you're a rat and all that.
Yeah.
But I want her back on the radio show.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved how that played out. I loved that she's going to work to get, like, that's one more pressure on her. She loves doing that.
Yeah.
And Flocka didn't say it like, you're gone. It was more
Mhm.
like, I don't want to do this, but
Right.
this is how it has to be. You're attracting too much negative attention. We
Mhm.
got to change it. I just thought that was, I think there's an interesting
Are you about to
storyline.
kick me off? Is that what?
No.
Because she's like,
If I
yeah,
didn't
the
kick you
show.
off by now.
The show comes first.
Yeah. If
And
you're
it's like, oh boy, yeah, you really suck.
yeah, no, if you haven't been
You
kicked
have to
off
go.
by now, you're fine.
I'm
We're in
all
the home
right.
stretch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I do really like that storyline between the two of them. Last season when they started the radio thing, I don't want to say it was that I didn't like it. I did like it,
I loved it.
but it
Although I could probably go back and listen to the episodes, and they'll be like, "I hate this," and I don't have any
Yeah.
memory of hating
see
it.
it. I
but
didn't
no,
I didn't
don't
hate it
think
at all.
so.
I actually really liked it,
Yeah.
but it was a little like we're going to force these characters into this situation.
Hmm.
We're going to force this radio thing so we could have this scene with the character that doesn't stop talking and all that. It was a plot device,
Mhm.
whereas now it's kind of changed from a plot device for me to like a really interesting little side story that's going on.
Mhm.
So like I said, I don't mean to say it negatively. I really
Yeah.
liked it, but now it's become part of the narrative for me.
Yeah, and I love like back when they had started and Flocka would do all the makeup and would I just thought I just love her. I think she's
How
funny.
about the I'm going to go back to one other one. We were talking about Alita. How about that family dinner? Those kids are awesome.
Wow. Well, they've been through a little bit.
And the way they oh my God.
Let's think about the parents for a bit, and then they've been in
But look
foster
at
care.
The Nana is sitting there
Yeah,
just eating like oblivious.
yeah,
And he's sitting there with that face going like, what? She's 13. Like,
right,
what is going on here?
right,
Because he's thinking, this is a family. I
Yeah.
got your kids back.
right.
He did it. Little as you know, half hour before that, she was with Caesar.
Right, and she's totally just using him, and she calls him the Walmart.
Yeah, she
guy
calls
or
him
something,
Walmart.
like some Walmart thing.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down.
No, she calls him Walmart.
It's a little longer than that.
Martha.
Okay, wait. I want to talk about something we don't normally talk about, but
Okay.
this was the first episode where the direction was dramatically different.
The beginning part, for sure.
No, all the way through. And it was written by Genji,
Yep.
and it was directed by I wrote it down. I
Oh,
wrote
well.
this down.
See?
It was directed by Michael
Those
Trim.
of you that don't think we're pros, boom, in your face.
I'm not a pro. I just forget. And
Yes.
so I had to write it down because I knew I wanted to talk about it. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm going to look like a moron if I have to go back and try to look it up.
Okay.
So it was directed by Michael Trim. And it was a completely different style than they've ever done in any of the other seasons, where they do the freeze frame and then they did the voiceover.
Now, did they? I only caught that in the beginning. Did they do that
They
later?
kept
They
doing
did voiceover more
They kept
than once.
doing the voiceover through the entire thing.
Right.
But I'm just saying it was very, very different. And then at the end, I hated when it was going through the cafeteria and it was everyone's thought.
Oh, and they all started.
I hated that because I was like, I didn't, first of all, believe that any one of them were thinking any of those
yeah,
thoughts.
the thoughts were lame.
And I really just was like, did they run out of material?
No,
Why
I
are
mean,
they doing this stupid thing? I wasn't a huge fan. I'd be interested to hear what listeners think
Yeah.
about that. But I wasn't a huge fan, and I kept going, why are they doing this?
I didn't like
What-
it in the beginning. I didn't necessarily like when we were getting their inner monologues.
Yes.
That seemed weird. That thing at the ending, it didn't bother me. I was just like, oh, okay, so it's just showing that there's all this like
It kept going.
turmoil,
and
and you're not
going.
hearing it outwardly.
But
they
it
didn't-
wasn't turmoil. It was
It was a lot of nonsense.
her hair. Is that her real voice? Like what? I mean, it was just stupid. And
Yeah,
I
I
just
doubt-
sat there thinking,
Yeah.
wow, I don't care. Like, first
Right.
of all, even if those were their real thoughts, I don't care. Like, there was nothing interesting to me about
that ending.
And
it
it
was
just
Alex
felt
walking
like
through it. But you know what?
they just had extra minutes that they needed to fill,
We didn't
and they
need those. We could have just had the noise of them all talking and everything, and
Right.
Alex walking through.
I know.
And it would have been probably more powerful.
It was just weird, and I hope they don't do it the entire season.
I'm with you.
But I didn't hate necessarily that they did I didn't like it, but I guess I didn't hate it.
No, but it
But
seemed
you know
out of
what I
character
mean?
for the show.
It was
We've never
weird.
seen that.
And I kept thinking, why are they doing this? Like, it's awesome on Fleabag, but here
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. And why now on the 7th season are they all of a sudden going, and now we're going to show you what we really think?
Yeah.
And
I'm going to freeze and give you my thoughts.
it was really strange for me. And I didn't necessarily like it when it was happening throughout, but then that ending, I was like, oh, I hate this. Like,
we've never had that inner monologue stuff.
no.
And it did seem very out of place. And it, that's the kind of thing that when you talk to like filmmakers, most of them hate voiceover. When you see it in movies, it's usually because they were forced to.
Mm.
Like, oh, the audience doesn't understand, so do a voiceover. But the reality is, when you're writing a script, they usually tell you do whatever you can to get rid of that voiceover.
It's lazy.
It is. It was completely unnecessary here. And like I said, that ending of Alex walking through there,
It was stupid.
just having their conversations, their normal
Yeah.
conversations, would have been just as effective.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it funny. I think that's what they were going for. Is like
I
kinda
did not
funny.
find it funny.
When the girl's twisting her hair going 14, 15. I'm like,
No.
nope, didn't work for me.
No, I didn't find it at all interesting. I really felt like it was a bad, like, film school student film. Like,
I gotcha.
and to me it just that was not working, and I kept thinking, I really hope they don't do this in every episode.
I'm
If
with
they
you.
do, don't tell us, because we'll just need to endure it and keep hoping that the next episode they won't.
Yeah, it's probably
So-
better to let us just
Yeah.
experience it.
Yeah,
But
if I know they're going to do it through the entire rest of the season, I will have a hard time watching. So
Yeah.
I'm going to just pretend that
yeah,
they're not
and
ever
you
going
know
to do
what?
that again.
I'm not going to let it ruin my season, but I do
No,
agree with
and
that.
it didn't ruin necessarily the episode for me, but I found it to be a distraction and cheesy. I didn't think it was effective in the way that they thought it would be. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm with you.
And apparently our cat Bernie agrees.
Agrees with us too. Yes.
So anyway, that was. But I did like the music. They changed up the music.
yeah, the music was cool.
and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a totally different style than they usually use.
And I like Piper being out. I find
I like Piper
what
being
we're seeing on
out.
the outside,
Yes.
it seems very fresh.
Yes. And I really, really, really want her to succeed. As I
I do
wanted
too.
Tasty and everybody else to succeed when they got
I do
up.
too. And like I said, it's going to feel real lame if she ends up right back in there
Mm,
because we've already seen him do that.
yeah.
I don't need to see that again. All right. Is that it for this episode?
I
Did
think
we
so.
do episode 1 of season 7?
I think I am. Yeah, I'm gonna just check my. Oh wait, no. Okay.
Almost.
I have to talk about the fact that Loose Check's exercise class
Oh my gosh.
when he kept saying "stomp that hoe,"
That's because Gloria's back in the shoe, so now
Right.
he's
but that's just a
Yeah,
little
stomp that hoe.
moment of happiness. I love his exercise classes.
yeah. I do too.
So that
okay.
cracks me up.
I want to read. We got a message on Facebook, and they said not going to be spoilery. They already are on the final episode of season 7. This is from Leah Logan,
Okay, hi Leah.
but this goes in line with what we were just talking about. She wants to know our thoughts on the backstories.
Yes.
So she says, so far my only question or comment would be, without any spoilers, is that some of the backstories have had very symbolic meanings. What do you think some of these meant? How this helps explain the characters more? And she said she was a little confused.
In this episode specifically,
No, she's talking the season. Now, here's
we
what I'm going
haven't
to say.
seen it yet.
Well, no, here's what I'm going to say.
Okay,
For her, as we go through,
we'll
when we
think
do the
about
flashbacks,
that.
we'll try to
Okay.
make sense out of it. In this one, it was literally just showing Piper's life before
I think
and how it transitioned into this
I
moment.
think that it showed in this episode, because I was thinking about it as I was watching it, that it showed how far she sank.
Yeah.
It showed how
It did
far,
show how far she sank.
because she wouldn't even eat in that restaurant, and now she has to work there.
Right.
And she's sweeping up the flies that made her, not want to even go in.
Yep.
And
now she's having to deal with it.
She was so superior and so judgmental, and
Well, she's been humbled.
She
in a lot
fell
of ways.
hard, and she had a long way down.
But I think that's also why, as we're watching it, we're rooting for her now because we're like, look,
Yes.
before Piper was pretty awful.
Mm,
She's been humbled,
yeah.
and she's not even like fighting it. She's just like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
This is where I work. This is what I do.
Yeah.
She wasn't even like bad mouthing the place. When Cal or somebody like made fun of it, or maybe it was Alex. Thunder ties.
Yeah, thunder, because it looks like thunder thigh.
Right.
If you don't know how to pronounce thigh.
But when she said it, it was like she didn't even make fun of it. It was just like, yep, that's where I'm working.
Right.
Like, this is it.
Yeah.
I think that's really what this was doing, was showing the two.
Mm-hmm.
This is how bad she was. This is how she's dealing with it now.
Mhm.
This is how good parts of her life were. This is how crappy they are now.
The one flashback that her and Larry are at the beach house.
Yeah.
And to me, once again, it's just showing how far she's come, like how far she's fallen.
Right.
And the life that she had.
Or well, she's been humbled, but has she fallen, or is she matured from that?
Well, okay, but hang on. She is living in a room.
That's where the fallen is. Yeah, at Cal's. And
she
Mary's.
went from her beautiful condo with Larry and all the nice things in life, and getting spoiled by her dad and having everything she wanted.
Right.
And being able to spend this time at this insanely beautiful beach house on the ocean, and now she's in this room with her brother and his
with them
wife,
trying to teach their kid to poop on the toilet
at 2 months old. So yeah, to me that's fallen. Like she's gone
I'll go
so
with fallen.
far from where she was,
Yeah.
and can she ever get back there? And you look at her flashback with her dad, and you've got this man who clearly worshipped this kid, and now he won't look at her,
Right.
and he won't give her the time of day. And I get it on some level, because we're parents, we have a daughter, and if she ends up like that in terms of making
just bad
stupid
choice
choices
after
and
bad
then
choice
ended up in prison, we would be really freaking disappointed.
Right.
I don't think that I would treat her the way he's treating, that they've treated her. They have other issues
going on.
Yeah, they
too.
have other issues. But I can get on some level that he's thinking, my parenting style caused this, and so now I need to
all
go.
This, so I need to.
I got to go the opposite extreme, but both extremes are bad. Extremes are always bad. And so you need to find a little bit of gray area, and you go, you know what? She's not using it for drugs. She's not using
I'm
it
going to play that little
for
bit of you
this.
saying the gray area thing. I'm going to pull that out and use it whenever we're in the car and you're working the air
Okay,
conditioner.
I don't have gray area, but that doesn't mean he should. Like, he should. Other people should.
Other people, just not you.
Just maybe not me so much.
No.
I have some.
Your gray area is a little black and white. Yeah.
It's like charcoal.
Charcoal.
It smears sometimes.
Yes.
All right. So the bottom line is, I get on some level that he's thinking, I have to fix her by going the opposite direction, when all that's going to do is make it worse.
Right.
As opposed to looking at each situation and going, okay, she's trying. I'm
Right.
seeing her doing this. If I help her a little bit, will she still go the right way? You know, could we maybe get her on the right track? I don't know.
I think we'll see what's going on there by the end of this season.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll be reconciled with them by the end of the season, or do you think she'll leave her family? I think she'll leave her family.
I don't.
I do.
I don't. I think that they're all in such a transition. She and Cal are close. And she does well with him from a distance.
Sure.
And he was there for her.
So maybe if she gets away from him,
yes,
it'll
then
fix all
I
that.
think, and I think that the same with the dad. I think that they need some time, and I think that they need some.
When if she has a few
help.
wins and she shows that
Yeah.
she's matured, it might actually change things there. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate to cut that off when I haven't seen enough precedent for them to cut it off.
Sure.
If they were abusive to her all the time, you know, like this is something I really feel like he's struggling with his guilt and thinking I did this and he said your mom kept telling me I spoiled you. He thinks he did this.
Right.
And sometimes parents have trouble separating their child's behavior from themselves,
Sure.
from their parenting. And,
I can totally see that.
and he's not seeing her yet as an adult. So I think that if she were to separate a little bit more and get herself under, like on the right track, I think she's already
you think
on the right track.
It won't end the relationship, that we could see some healing. We may not have full healing by the end of the season, but we may see some healing.
I
here.
really would like to.
Okay.
Once again, I think it's easy to just say, oh, and then she just walks away and this happens. And that, like, to me, that's a cop out.
See, I was thinking that we'd have a season of showing a lot of turmoil to the point that she's finally like, this is not a healthy environment. This is why I fall back into these patterns.
It could be. But
We'll see.
I don't know that that's why she falls back into the patterns. I think it's easy to blame others when we have that weakness within ourselves, and I've been guilty of that. Certainly you've been guilty of that, where you can look at people in your life or events and go, oh, see, that's why I do that. Well,
Right,
you know what? No, you wake up every day and
own
you
your
have
stuff.
a choice
in
how you plan out your day and like the choices that you make as your day goes along.
Sure.
And so I think that there might be elements of it, but I think that overall we have the choice of whether or not we're going to continue a certain pattern.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I think that
Wow,
there
things
could
got
be,
deep here at the end, huh?
I think there could be healing.
Okay. So I think that's it. Is that it?
Yeah, and we'll keep watching for these flashbacks and make sure we're commenting on them each time, because I do think that there's something.
And we'll see.
there.
If she was confused by it, maybe we'll be confused. We'll
yeah,
find
I'm
out.
sure there. Oh, please. If somebody,
I guarantee we'll be
okay,
confused.
we're already confused.
Yeah.
So,
Who are Piper and Alex again?
oh my God, that was embarrassing.
Okay.
I mean, I just completely blanked on the entire show. I was like, who am I even looking at? I know who they are in real life, but why can't I come up with their characters' names?
So I'm going to end it. Let me give social media again real quickly. You can email us if that's your preferred method at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. It goes right to us. You can find us on Facebook under Orange is the New Black Podcast. And we've got spoiler threads in there. And we're going to try to have some content like we've done the last couple of years. Some fun things, quotes and memes and stuff that we'll put up on there. And any news that happens to come up, because you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have our Twitter account, which is Orange Podcast. So there you go. That's how you follow us. Get in communication with us. We love to get messages. We love to talk to you guys. We love to hear what you're thinking about all this. And like we said, we will reapproach season 1. And who knows? Who knows what other fun stuff we'll have? We've got a season to talk that out. So I'm done. Martha, are you done?
I'm good.
All right. You know what? We never even introduced ourselves, but I think at this point, they probably know. I'm Martha.
Oh, please.
And you're Rob. You didn't say it. All right. That's it. Inmates, back to yourselves. And then is it Miri or Neri?
Miri.
Miri brings up.
It's Neri after
I
all
think it's
this?
Neri. Okay.
I even wrote it down.
Yeah, but you know
so
what?
many
That
times.
one is a legit one. If anyone gives
It
us
sounds
garbage
like
about
Miri.
that,
It's Neri, isn't it?
I think it's Neri.
My gosh. Okay.
But it's fair because that one it's hard to tell unless you're looking at how it's spelled. But I think it's Neri.
It sounded like Miri.
It's Neri.
It's Neri, and
Yep.
I'm so embarrassed. Okay.
So okay.
Neri.